Maya woke up before sunrise on the day her life quietly began to fall apart. The small room she shared with her mother was still dark, and the sound of early buses drifted in through the thin window. She sat up slowly, already feeling the weight in her chest that had been there for weeks. Maya was 17 years old, smart, calm, and careful, and she had learned early that mistakes were expensive when you came from nothing. Her school was private, far from her neighborhood, and filled with students who arrived in clean cars and spoke about vacations she had only seen on television. Maya belonged there only because of a scholarship that covered her fees, her books, and her uniform. Every morning she reminded herself not to waste that chance. She dressed neatly, tied her hair back, and checked her bag twice to make sure her homework was complete. Her mother watched her from the kitchen, tired from a night shift but smiling with pride. Maya hugged her and promised to do her best like she always did. The bus ride to school was long and quiet, and Maya spent it staring out the window and thinking about college brochures she kept hidden under her bed. She dreamed of studying medicine one day and helping people who never had help. At school, the day started like any other, with lessons, notes, and silent focus. Teachers respected Maya because she listened more than she spoke and never missed a deadline. During lunch, she sat with her friend Anna, who talked about exams and weekend plans. Maya nodded and smiled, but her mind felt far away. She had noticed small changes lately, strange looks from the office staff and a sudden silence when she passed by. After her last class, a message appeared on her phone asking her to report to the school office. Her heart sank, but she told herself not to panic. Inside the office, the air felt heavy and cold, and the secretary handed her an envelope without meeting her eyes. Maya opened it slowly and read the words that made her hands shake. The letter said her scholarship had been revoked due to administrative review. There was no clear reason, only instructions to return with a guardian next week. Maya stood there frozen, unable to breathe properly. The secretary avoided her gaze and asked if there was anything else. Maya shook her head and walked out, feeling like the ground had disappeared beneath her feet. The hallway seemed longer than usual, and the sound of laughter from other students felt distant and sharp. She packed her bag and left school early, walking instead of taking the bus. Every step felt heavy as fear settled into her chest. She thought about her mother, the bills, and the future she had worked so hard to build. At home, she did not tell anyone yet. She sat on her bed and stared at the wall, reading the letter again and again as if the words might change. That night, she barely slept, and when morning came, her eyes burned from crying. She decided to go for a walk before school to clear her head. The air was cool, and the road near the old highway was quiet and empty. Maya walked slowly, thinking about what she could do and who she could ask for help. She wondered if hard work was ever enough when rules could change without warning. As she crossed near the curve of the road, a sudden loud sound broke the silence. Tires screamed, metal slammed, and a car crashed into the barrier with violent force. Maya stopped in shock as smoke rose into the air. The car was badly damaged and resting at an angle, and flames began to flicker near the front. For a moment, Maya felt frozen by fear. She looked around, but no one else was nearby. Her heart pounded loudly in her ears as she realized someone was inside. Without thinking further, she dropped her bag and ran toward the car. The heat was strong, and the smell of smoke burned her throat. Inside, a boy was trapped, coughing and struggling to move. He looked terrified, his eyes wide and unfocused. Maya tried the door, but it would not open. She pulled harder, ignoring the pain in her hands. The fire grew stronger, and panic rushed through her body. She wrapped her jacket around her hands and tried again with all her strength. The door finally opened with a loud sound. Maya reached in and unbuckled the seat belt as the boy cried out. She pulled him free and dragged him away from the car just as flames spread further. They collapsed onto the ground, breathing hard and shaking. Sirens could be heard in the distance as someone finally called for help. The boy stared at Maya, stunned and alive. She sat beside him, holding him steady until help arrived. When police and medical workers reached the scene, they asked Maya questions and wrote down her name. She answered quietly, still in shock, not realizing that this moment would change everything. Later that day, she returned home exhausted and sore, carrying the same fear about her scholarship but now mixed with something else. Maya did not know that the boy she saved was connected to the school that had taken everything from her. She did not know that this act of courage would bring answers she never expected. All she knew was that she had done what felt right when no one else was there. Maya woke up the next morning with her body aching and her mind heavy with questions. Her hands were wrapped in light bandages from the burns she had received while pulling the boy from the car. Her mother noticed the bandages immediately and panicked until Maya calmly explained what had happened. Tears filled her mother's eyes as she hugged her tightly and thanked her for being brave. Maya listened quietly, still unsure how to feel about everything that had happened. The accident felt unreal, like something she had watched in a movie rather than lived through herself. She prepared for school slowly, knowing her future there was uncertain. The scholarship letter still sat folded in her bag, reminding her that bravery had not solved everything. At school, whispers followed her through the hallway. Some students had heard about the accident from the news or social media posts. A few teachers stopped her to ask if she was all right and praised her courage. Maya nodded politely but avoided attention because praise made her uncomfortable. During class, her thoughts drifted back to the burning car and the fear in the boy's eyes. She wondered if he was safe and if his family knew what had happened. At lunch, her friend Anna looked at her with wide eyes and asked if the story was true. Maya gave a short answer and changed the subject. She did not want to be known as a hero when her life felt so fragile. After school, she was called to the nurse's office to check her hands. The nurse cleaned the burns carefully and told her they would heal well. Maya thanked her and left, feeling tired but calm. That evening, a police officer came to her house to follow up on the accident. He asked a few questions and thanked her again for her quick action. Before leaving, he mentioned that the boy's family had asked about her. Maya felt a strange twist in her stomach at those words. She spent the night staring at the ceiling, thinking about how one moment could change so many lives. The next few days passed slowly. Maya attended school as usual, but the scholarship issue hung over her like a dark cloud. Her mother finally noticed her silence and gently asked what was wrong. Maya handed her the letter with shaking hands. Her mother read it carefully and sighed deeply. She promised they would talk to the school together and find a solution. Maya wanted to believe her, but fear stayed close. On Friday afternoon, an unexpected call came from the school office. They asked Maya to come in on Monday morning with her mother. No explanation was given. The weekend felt endless as Maya tried to prepare herself for bad news. On Monday, she and her mother walked into the school together. The familiar halls felt different, colder and more serious. They were guided to the principal's office and asked to wait. Maya sat quietly, holding her mother's hand. After a few minutes, the door opened and they were invited inside. The room felt tense and quiet. The principal sat behind the desk, looking nervous. A man in a dark suit stood near the window, his back turned. When he turned around, Maya felt her breath catch. It was the boy's father. His eyes softened when he saw her. He stepped forward slowly and thanked her for saving his son. Maya looked down, unsure what to say. Her mother listened in shock as the man explained who he was. He told them that his son was recovering well and often spoke about the girl who saved him. Maya felt warmth and discomfort at the same time. The man then explained that he owned the school. Maya's heart began to race. The principal shifted in his chair as the man spoke about reviewing school records. He explained that Maya's scholarship removal had been brought to his attention during a routine check. He said the decision was made without proper review and fairness. Maya held her breath as he continued. He told her that her scholarship was being fully restored. Not only that, but it would now continue through her college education. Her mother gasped softly, covering her mouth in disbelief. Maya felt tears rise but tried to stay calm. The man told her that courage and character mattered more than money. He said her actions showed who she truly was. The principal nodded silently, unable to say much. Maya thanked the man quietly, her voice shaking. He smiled and said he hoped she would continue to chase her dreams. When the meeting ended, Maya and her mother walked out in silence. Outside the building, her mother finally spoke and hugged her tightly. Maya felt the fear she had carried for weeks begin to fade. That afternoon, she returned to class with a lighter heart. Students still whispered, but this time Maya did not feel small. She realized that doing the right thing had given her more than she ever expected. That night, she placed the scholarship letter back into her bag, no longer a symbol of loss but of hope. She slept peacefully for the first time in many days. Maya returned to school the next day with a feeling she had never known before. Her steps felt lighter as she walked through the gates that once made her feel small. The building looked the same, but something inside her had changed quietly. She was no longer afraid of being sent away or losing everything she worked for. Teachers greeted her with gentle smiles, and some nodded with respect. Maya responded politely and kept walking, holding her books close to her chest. She still preferred silence over attention. In class, she listened carefully and took notes like she always had. But now her mind felt calm instead of heavy. She understood that her future was no longer hanging by a thin thread. During break time, Anna sat beside her and asked about the meeting in the office. Maya shared a simple version of the truth without adding drama. Anna listened with wide eyes and squeezed Maya's hand in support. Word spread through the school quickly, but Maya did not let it change her behavior. She continued helping classmates when they struggled and stayed focused on her goals. A few days later, Leo returned to school. He walked slowly through the hallway, still healing but smiling. When he saw Maya, he stopped and waved shyly. Maya smiled back, unsure of what to say. Leo thanked her again and told her she had saved his life. Maya told him she was glad he was safe and asked him to take care of himself. Their conversation was short but meaningful. They went their separate ways, both carrying quiet gratitude. At home, Maya's mother seemed lighter and happier than ever. She talked about plans, savings, and dreams they once thought were impossible. Maya listened and smiled, feeling proud that her mother could finally breathe easily. Evenings were calmer now, filled with homework and soft conversation. Maya spent more time studying and preparing for exams. She wanted to prove that the trust placed in her was deserved. Weeks passed, and life slowly found a steady rhythm again. Maya joined a small study group and helped others understand difficult lessons. Teachers noticed her leadership and dedication. One afternoon, the school counselor asked to speak with her. Maya felt no fear this time as she entered the office. The counselor praised her academic progress and suggested programs for the future. She spoke about universities and opportunities Maya had never imagined. Maya listened closely, storing every word in her heart. She realized that her life was opening in ways she never expected. Outside of school, Maya began volunteering at a local center on weekends. She helped younger students with reading and homework. Seeing their smiles reminded her why she wanted to study medicine one day. She understood that helping others gave her purpose and strength. Sometimes she thought back to the accident on the road. She remembered the heat, the fear, and the moment she chose to act. That moment taught her that courage did not need permission. It only needed a willing heart. One evening, Mr. Harris invited Maya and her mother to a small dinner. They were nervous but grateful for the invitation. The dinner was simple and warm, filled with conversation and laughter. Mr. Harris thanked Maya again and spoke about responsibility and kindness. He told her that the world needed more people like her. Maya listened quietly, feeling both honored and humbled. After dinner, Leo showed her pictures from his recovery. They talked about school, goals, and plans for the future. Their friendship grew naturally and respectfully. As months passed, Maya's confidence grew stronger. She no longer doubted her place in the world. She worked hard, stayed kind, and remained true to herself. Challenges still came, but she faced them with calm determination. Maya learned that life could be unfair, but it could also surprise you with grace. She understood that her story was not just about loss or rescue. it was about growth, strength, and quiet courage. As the school year moved forward, Maya prepared for exams with focus and hope. She knew that her journey was far from over. But for the first time, she believed deeply that she was ready for whatever came next. Maya stood at the edge of the school field one quiet afternoon and watched students laughing and talking under the open sky. The sound once reminded her of distance and difference, but now it felt welcoming and warm. She realized how much her life had changed in a short time. The fear that once followed her every step had slowly faded away. She felt stronger not because everything was easy but because she had survived difficulty with honesty and courage. Her final exams were approaching, and Maya spent long hours studying with steady focus. She woke early every day and followed a simple routine that kept her grounded. Her mother supported her with gentle words and warm meals and quiet pride. At school, teachers offered guidance and encouragement. Maya listened carefully and worked harder than ever. She wanted to honor the opportunity she had been given. One morning, the school held an assembly to speak about responsibility and character. Maya sat quietly among the students, not knowing her name would be mentioned. The principal spoke about courage shown in unexpected moments. He talked about choosing others over fear. Then he called Maya to the stage. The room grew quiet as she stood and walked forward. Her heart beat fast, but her steps were steady. The principal thanked her for reminding everyone what true strength looked like. Students applauded softly, then louder. Maya felt her face grow warm, but she held her head high. She spoke only a few words and thanked everyone for their support. When she returned to her seat, she felt proud but calm. She knew that the applause was not what mattered most. What mattered was staying true to herself. As graduation day approached, Maya received letters from universities. Each letter felt like a door opening to a new world. She read them slowly, letting hope grow inside her. Her mother cried when she saw the acceptance letters. They hugged each other and whispered thanks for strength and patience. Maya chose a path that felt right to her heart. She wanted to study medicine and help people who felt forgotten. On her last day of school, Maya walked through the halls one final time. She remembered how scared she once felt in those same halls. Now she felt gratitude instead of fear. Friends hugged her and wished her well. Teachers smiled and told her they believed in her future. Leo stopped her near the exit and thanked her once more. He told her that her courage had changed how he saw life. Maya smiled and wished him the best as well. Outside, the sun was bright and the sky wide and open. Maya stepped forward into her future with confidence. Years later, Maya stood in a hospital hallway wearing a simple uniform. She had worked hard through college and training. The journey was long and demanding, but she never gave up. Her mother attended her graduation and cried with pride. Maya now helped patients with kindness and care. Sometimes she met people who felt scared and lost. She understood their fear because she had once felt it too. She reminded them that one moment could change everything. In quiet moments, Maya thought back to the road and the burning car. She remembered the choice she made without hesitation. That choice shaped her life in ways she could never have planned. She learned that courage often comes before reward. She learned that kindness can open doors no one expects. Maya never sought praise or recognition. She simply lived with purpose and compassion. Her story spread quietly through lives she touched. She became proof that strength can come from the most unexpected places. And she carried that truth with her every day of her life.